I spy with my little eye a whole shitload of ignorance. I don't know, I've just noticed a lot of, videos and just socially, how there are a lot of people, not really people, well, yeah, people, a lot of just various religions just trying to push their own and then say the other ones are evil. I've noticed mainly it's the atheists that go out of their way to prove Christianity wrong. I should probably scoot over that way I'm not like off to the side like a fucking ninja. Those are usually atheists that go out of their way to, disprove Christianity, but yet at the same time act like they're not at all, or they're better than the Christians that go out of their way to disprove atheism. And it's not really so much as disapproval on each side, it's just blunt insulting and, mud throwing. And I'm of neither one of these. But I just noticed that, I know a lot of people that are atheist and a lot of people that are Christian. And some of them, are just like, they just sort of scuff, haha, there is no God, blah, 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 they're douchebags, blah, blah, you know what I mean? And then there's also a lot of Christians that go, those retarded little atheists thinking they're so much better than us, And a lot of this really isn't any actual, not really any actual thinking involved. It's just straight up mud throwing and straight up insulting. It's just, there's not really any thinking about it. It's just people saying, you suck because you don't believe the same thing I do, and you suck because of the stuff that I think is true, but really isn't. And I just, I guess it's just how some people are. Some people are just ignorant. You can't really stop that. But then again, some people just, they are just too lazy and too ignorant to really even, try to learn something. They're too lazy to even try to open up their minds and try to learn things about the world. And I've noticed the same thing goes for the evolutionism versus creationism debate. And it's more so the creationists attacking evolutionists. A lot of the, a good example of this would be, I was in my, I have sociology, and in my sociology class we watched, it was an IMAX, I'm not quite sure the name of it. It was an IMAX thing that was about science in general. And if anybody remembers, you could, message down there or whatever and try to tell me, but it was narrated by Morgan Freeman, and it was an IMAX video. And at first he started talking about, how, the things got broken down, like, there were cells, and inside cells, there were atoms, and inside atoms, protons and, that kind of stuff. But then they started talking, they talked about how tiny and minuscule the Earth is compared to the entire universe. And then they started talking about evolution and how life came onto Earth. And nothing bad was really going on. I'm a little sleepy, man. Nothing was really going bad until there was a kid in my class that started scuffing at it. At the idea that all life came from single-celled organisms. And how these single-celled organisms eventually multiplied and became multi-celled organisms like fish, and we went on to be amphibious and things like that. And he scuffed at it, made a couple of sly remarks. Nobody really cared, really, until we went back to our class because we had about 10 minutes left before school ended. So my teacher was like, y'all can just talk or whatever. And he started talking about, well, so you're saying we're bacteria and that fish are bacteria because you can't eat fish then because it would get you a disease. Just bluntly doing saying this and that and the other, and went on and on and on to say, well, why don't we just not learn anything at all, because the Bible says that everything was made by him. Why not? Why even try to learn evolutionism, or why even try to learn anything about the world at all, because God just knows it all. And this is just so incredibly dim-witted, because that's like saying, well, why not just not look for a polio vaccine back when polio was very contagious. Let's just let all the little kids die, go to God. Or that's like trying to not find a cure for AIDS, because some AIDS you do not get from sexual intercourse, some AIDS you do not get from drug sharing. You know, I mean, there's even been theories that, you know, the first guy to get AIDS was bitten by an AIDS-infected monkey. And since, you know, saliva in his mouth was exchanged with blood, that's probably how it started. Well, that's like saying, well, screw them, they can just die horribly painfully, ungodly painfully, and just die and go to God. Now, there's two big flaws with this. I know I'm sort of going off the wall, seeing as how this was originally about, you know, atheism versus Christianity. But I've noticed these things are two very closely. Because I've noticed a lot of the atheists are evolutionarists, and I've noticed that a lot of Christians are creationists, of course. But none of them really need to learn, like, you know, and none of them really learn anything about each other. Well, it's usually the creationists that don't learn anything about evolutionaryism. Evolutionaryism, I guess that would be the word. I don't know. I'm having a slow moment today. But, I mean, while on the other hand, evolutionists, you know, learn to a degree about the creationist idea. You know? Because, I mean, evolutionaryism does not disprove anything in creation. It does not talk about whether or not there's a God. It does not talk about the beginning. It does not say a single thing about how life began. It's just saying there was life somehow. How did it go from a little germ to Bob next door? How did that transition occur? And a lot of these creationisms just spit it away and don't even want to learn about it, for the fact that, you know, that's what it, you know, that the fact that it does not say that there is a God. That's like saying, it's pretty much the, if you're not my enemy, if you're not my friend, then you must be my enemy. You know? You're either with us or against us. And I've noticed that, you know. And, I mean, that argument and the atheist Christianity argument just shows how some people just refuse to learn anything about other people. And I think a lot of these problems would be very easily bypassed if, you know, people just spent 10 minutes learning about each other. You know? You know, you just made them shut the fuck up, not like, you know, you not try to, like, you know, disprove or whatever, but just listen what the other person believes. Like, for example, I'm not Muslim, but I learned a little bit about the Quran. You know, just to sort of learn some of the stuff. I'm not a Satanist, but I spent, you know, a little bit of my life studying the principles of Satanism, and then different sects. There you go. Yeah, sorry about I got like an inner retainer thing up in there, and I don't want it to, like, you know, fuck up my speech. So if I fuck up a word like that, whatever. But, and I've noticed, you know, that's still one of the main thing. I mean, it's just ignorance, really. It's like, I guess, you know, the whole idea is, you know, just atheists and Christians, you need to learn to just, you know, at least learn a little bit about each other's thing. And atheists should realize that, you know, of any religion, it requires faith. First of all, faith is the big thing. There's no other important aspect to religion, really, other than faith. For the mere fact that, you know, without faith, there wouldn't be any of the other things in a religion. And Christians need to learn that you just can't believe something just because you're told to. You know, that's the big problem. As well as, you know, the whole Christianism. I'm about to say Christianism. I'm about to say that. What the fuck? But the creationists need to realize that evolution does not disprove their theory. Because I really see no problem with the evolutionists. Almost all the evolutionists that I've heard of know the idea of creationism. So I guess it's just y'all's fuck up, creationists. I mean, that's probably not the truth for all, you know, but most of the ones that I've seen, maybe it's just my area. I live in Texas, I live in the South, so of course there's going to be like Bible thumpers everywhere, but yeah, that's just my opinion, really, you know. I mean, you just can't, you have to stop ignorance, really, you know. You just got to stop it.